Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons, your preferred Bryant dealer. Whatever it takes. Visit robertgibb.com.
All right, everybody, meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I've been waiting for some new model data to come in. I have some information to share with you, a little bit of an update on the track of our Clipper right before the Ripper, a big 3-day storm system rolling out of the Rockies and heading into the northern plains. Now, it's not going to affect Fargo for 3 days or Bismarck for 3 days or Minneapolis for 3 days. It's just going to slowly drag its way across the region, and I'll have the latest for you. As is always the case, I love it when you go ahead and drop me a comment down below with your location. Let me know where you're watching from. And are you looking forward to the snow? Go ahead and drop a line on that as well. Let's take a look at that radar and get you started right away, and we're going to go over everything. But first, we do have some flakes showing up here near the Lisbon area. As you see down here, southeast North Dakota, Highway 13, and basically out towards the Ellendale and Oaks area, we're seeing some showers of snow showing up on the radar. That extends to areas just to the south and to the west of Jamestown, out near the Cleveland and Medina area. That extends back off towards Bismarck. As we turn their radar on, we can see those snow showers are kind of exiting the area, but there's a little batch still holding back in that Dickinson area now in Stark County. Is this snow shower activity making its way down to the ground? Here's what you need to know. As we take a look at the North Dakota Department of Transportation road report, and again, what we're looking at here is, or trying to see is the radar confirming? And yes, we are seeing some reports of very snow-covered roads or snow-covered roads in the Williston area. So as we check Highway 2 out, this is a look near Ray, and certainly there is, wow, some snow covering the ground out there from round 1. Now, as we look out towards Watford City, same thing goes, some snow on the sides of the road. A little closer to home, that snow shower activity did make its way through and is making its way through the Bismarck area. Here's the Apple Creek rest area. Certainly the roadside covered with snow from this little early Clipper, and this isn't the main Clipper event. Brian, thank you for your stars. I really do appreciate your support of stars from all of you that have sent them over the weeks and months. Hi from Lake Havasu. Good to have you on board, Lynn. Diane checking in from War Road, Minnesota. You know, our far northern neighbors may be the ones that miss the majority of the snow from the next couple of systems. We can use the moisture in Bemidji, says Dan, and Babe the Blue Ox really would love to see a little bit more snow. Looking like we will see some snow in that Bemidji area. Now, we were seeing some flakiness out near the Wishick area, Ashley area, and here's a look at the latest picture there. I can't tell, but it doesn't look like there's any snow at all making its way through the atmosphere. Maybe a flake or a flurry. Certainly not covering the road as of yet. Here's Verona as we check out the southeast North Dakota, and it looks dry. So that's good. That's enough information to share with us about the fact that some of the snow showers are just now moving into southeast North Dakota, not showing up too much on the latest DOT report. And a look at the loop of the radar data showing that essentially they're drifting to the south and east. So this is not even the main Alberta Clipper. This is kind of a pre-Clipper. We'll call it the Clipper Mini. Okay, so that's what's moving through tonight. Just a little dash of snow. So we look off into the Grand Forks area. From the Grand Forks radar, we have temperatures there in the teens at 16 to 18 degrees in Crookston, 20 for the Emerado area, 16 Roseau, 16 Hallock, and up there in the area of Cavalier and Walhalla, we have 14 Cavalier, Walhalla at 16 degrees. And speaking of Babe the Blue Ox, how about 15 gorgeous degrees in Bemidji? Park Rapids seeing 15 degrees, Walker 15 degrees, and Fergus Falls, the hot spot, you and Sisseton in the low 20s. Hi, Brooke, good to see you. Michelle, thanks for tagging friends. That's one way you can support Hutch, is by sharing with friends. Friends don't let friends get weather information from just anywhere, right? You want to take a look at what's going on, and we're going to explain everything, and let's get started. Let's start out with the 7-day forecast. Why make you wait, right? Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. All right, let's take a look at this. Thursday, we're going to have an area of snow. I'll show you the exact details on this right after this graphic, and we'll go over the timing of tomorrow's Clipper. 1 to 2 inches for most in the path of the storm. That doesn't mean most of our whole area here. In fact, some in our northern counties will see very little from our Clipper. But there's going to be pockets of 3 to 7. There's been a little shift from the earlier models, and I'll give you the absolute latest, but the forecast is very close, so we're just fine-tuning it right now. Now, as we look into Friday, we're going to get a little break Friday afternoon and into most of Saturday. Those 2 days look pretty good for travel. So if you're heading down to the Twin Cities to cheer on the Fighting Hawks, or if you're heading down to Twin Cities to cheer on the Golden Gophers, well, whoever you're rooting for out there, the travel conditions won't be too bad heading down. Heading back on Saturday, you're going to be pretty good. But we're going to have a chance of snow increasing very late in the day, particularly in our western counties and our far southern counties. That's where this burp is coming from. Now, here's the big change, too. Sunday will be more of an event in South Dakota and the western Dakotas, okay? So for Fargo-Moorhead, Sunday may even be a little bit of a reprieve from the snow. However, models are in disagreement on this because the path of the storm is changing from a slow, straight shot and drag through the region a little dipsy doodle and then a move straight up through the region. Regardless of what path this storm system looks to take, it will impact the majority of our area, and some of us stand to get some very heavy snow. For now, it looks like late Sunday through all day Monday, wind, heavy snow, 10 plus inches of snow will be likely for some areas. Over a foot of snow is going to be likely in an isolated area. I'll talk more about that here in a minute. Then after the snow moves through, and yes, Fargo-Moorhead and our southern counties will stand the best chance at seeing significant whackage of snowage. We're talking sub-zero temperatures in the deep snow areas, so keep that in mind. So that's your 7-day planner. I'm going to pop up a look at the model forecast for tomorrow, and we're going to start with a look at, let me go ahead and pull up the high-resolution model that just came in. So this is brand new data. You don't have to wait. We're going to show you the latest and greatest. And I'll show you 2 different models and show you there's a little bit of a difference with regards to just how fast this system makes its way through. So we'll start with the North American model. I'm going to put it in 3D because it's kind of fun to do that. Then we're going to go ahead and let that load up while I switch it over to the model. Hey, Rita, good to have you from Bemidji. Susie joining from Mesa, Arizona, where the snow is not flying. Brian says heading back after winning the Frozen Face-Off should be good. That's right. Dipsy Doodle. Nicole likes that. Yep, little Dipsy Doodle when these storm tracks don't go in a straight line, then they go in a Dipsy Doodle. Tony, thanks for your stars. And Jamestown, snow total. Matthew, let me tell you something. Let's do one system at a time. We're going to start with this system. This is going to be your clipper. Let's put it into motion. See if I can just rock this back and forth. Okay, here it comes. Loading up. Sorry about that. Here it goes. Here's tonight's little nonsense. That's the little burp coming through. The mini clipper. Mini clipper makes its way through. Just a little dash of snow here or there. However, it did cause some greasy roads out in the western North Dakotas. Hi from, is that Flum or from? Hi from... Melanie says hi from, and I didn't get the rest. Timothy, hi, it's going great right here. Wanda, thanks for joining. You're welcome for keeping you updated. And Patrick, thank you so very much. Yeehaw! Rock and roll Romeo. 20 of them stars. I appreciate that very much. All right, now let's see for whom the bell tolls when it comes down to the snow from the clipper. Okay. We go to sleep. We head up in the morning. We're quiet here, and out west, it's moving out of Big Sky Country, Montana. So for my family, my friends from Wolf Point to Glendive and in northeast Montana, all the way from Fort Peck Reservoir to Culbertson and Brockton, it looks like you're going to get flaky in the morning hours, and it will accumulate by your afternoon drive to several inches of snow. This moves out into the western and central Dakotas here. Timestamp, evening. It's still not snowing in Fargo. So this model is holding it back a little bit. That's a little bit of a delay. That's right, Joe. Time marches on. Okay, let's keep marching time on here in the model and show you when does it start for Fargo? When does it start for southeast North Dakota? It's coming at us from the west, and it fills in fairly quickly. Drive time home, I'm going to call mid-afternoon. We might start seeing a few flurries flying in the eastern third of North Dakota, here and there, the way it looks. So around 3 in the afternoon, there'll be a dusting on the ground for the drive home. But once we get home, it's going to be moving through. Now, notice Grand Forks, not much going on there. You get down towards Mayville, that Hillsboro area, it starts increasing. Heavier bands south of Fargo, that's the shift. a little south of Fargo. Yesterday and even earlier this morning, it showed that band along Interstate 94. This is round one. This is Clipper one. We got a little bit more to go over here. This bad boy makes its way as we go into the overnight hours. This is Thursday into Friday morning. Friday morning, snow is whacking the Twin Cities in southern Minnesota, ice in Iowa, and it moves out pretty quickly. As it moves out, we'll continue to let it march on. Again, time is marching on, and the system is done. So the snow ends in and around Fargo by the time we get to the morning hours on Friday. How much? Let's talk about that. We'll take it through a little bit farther, and you can start to see the onset of the precursor of the main event coming basically on Saturday night all the way until Wednesday morning. That is a long-lasting system. That's the precursor. Okay, questions. Paula, thank you for the stars. Matthew, thank you for the stars. I am so humbled by all of you sharing stars. Brian, thank you for tagging friends. That's another way you can, pass the word that Hutch is still doing weather. All right, thanks so very much. Now let's take a look at how much snow. I'm going to show you Hutch's forecast here. This is the one model that I think is handling it best. Let me show you the other highlighted model here, just because, you know what, we have time together. You're spending time with me. I appreciate that. I'll go ahead and put up the hourly model. This one's updated. I got to pull it back a couple hours to let it go through all night. Now, here we go. This is called a high resolution rapid refresh model. There's our little burp coming through tonight. That's the pre-clipper, and there's the main clipper. Northeast Montana, as you go through the early part of the morning hours, as we head into your day tomorrow, we're going to see that snow spreading across northeast Montana and into the Bismarck area as we head into your, that's your Thursday midday. So drive time, it's staying out to the west. When does it get to Fargo? Look at this model. Fargo's on the far north side of this model. So both models are showing a little trend southward. This high resolution model runs every hour, and it's taking most of the heavy snow down to the border in south. Sisseton, Britain, South Dakota, Aberdeen, where you been? It looks like you might see some shovel trouble as this works its way through. Then the snow will be working its way through Fargo as we go between 6, 7 o'clock at night. So again, maybe flurries in and around Fargo and points south towards, say, Mantador. And then as we head into the evening hours, we're going to have a chance of flakes flying in the Twin Cities. Twin flakes, triplet flakes, quadruplets, and hexagonal flakes. All of them will be flying. Goes into the early hours of the overnight in Fargo before wrapping out of here. Here's a look at a snowfall forecast for you. Then we'll ask if you have any questions before we wrap up and talk about the big event, the Ripper. That's the 3-day storm. Here's the area of concern. We're going to cut it off in Grand Forks. I think you're going to have a whisk broom. A whisk broom is what you'll need to clean up this snow. Now, as we see the blue areas is the area where we're going to see 1 to 2 inches likely. And in the dark blue areas, we're going to have 3 to 7 inches. I think we'll see 3 to 5 for a few in these areas. It looks like Bismarck points south into Napoleon, Gackle, Streeter, Ashley, Wishick, Napoleon, all the way out towards maybe even Gwinner and Oaks and Ellendale seeing a fair or increased chance of some snow. Catherine, you'll have a chance at seeing some heavier snow, as will our neighbors in Richland County. Fargo's right on the edge. So I do think that we stand a great chance at seeing somewhere around that 2 to 3 inches here in the FM area, increased amounts on the southern side of the metro area. So if you're out there near Osgood trying to play golf tomorrow, you're going to run into some problems. Now, if you're driving on Interstate 94 on Thursday night late, so if you're trying to go to Twin Cities on Thursday night late, that's when the snow will be going through. This is not going to be an overly windy system, but it's not always that fun to drive in snow when you're trying to go 55 or 60. And it does parallel the interstate. Fergus Falls, Otter Tail County, all the way out toward the Brainerd Lakes area and the Mille Lacs, seeing some snow potential. Again, 3 to 5 possible. Little pockets of up to 7 inches is what Hutch is going for. Any questions before we move on to the main event? And in this quarter. Okay, yeah, we got a big storm coming, folks, and this one we've been talking about for a long time. And why was Hutch talking about this one for a long time? It's because it's a pretty big system, and it's moving out of Colorado, and there's going to be abundant moisture, and it's going to drag through over the course of a few days as opposed to just sliding by in 18 to 24 hours. Hey, James, good to have you on board from Alexandria, Minnesota. Love our Douglas County friends out there. Thanks for checking in. Hutch, do you think we can really get up to 24 inches between the 4 days? I do honestly think that I would not be surprised to see a place or two report 24 inches. And I'll say the best chance of that'll be down south into South Dakota or along the South Dakota border. We'll show you more on that in a second. Thursday morning, as you're heading out the door, a light wind, cold takes hold up in the Northland. In the pink, that's cold. We're talking near 10 to 15 degrees for you, closer to 20 for the vast majority of the rest of us. In the morning, the flakes will be out to the west. And in the afternoon, they will just be beginning here as we head into the 5 o'clock hour in the Fargo area and in southeast North Dakota. A little milder down to the south. Your temperatures as we zoom into your hometown so you can see them too. Well, look at this. We're stagnant in the 20s in the bands of snow, low 30s or near 30 degrees here in the Red River Valley because the snow starts a little later. Val, thank you for sharing the stars. I sure appreciate that. And check out this nonsense. If we see snow at all, it's going to be flurries up in the Northland, 23 for Bemidji, and a little warmer down in southern Minnesota. Get out into the Brainerd area. We're talking temperatures in those upper 20s for you. Hello from Carrington, Al. Good to see you on board. Pamela says Jamestown is watching. Gotta like that. Okay, here's the big one. All right. Don't let your eyes pop out of your skull like Hutch's just did. Impactful snow in pink here. It's not all falling at once. Some of this that you see here out to the west is the clipper that's going to be moving through. This is the total snow between now and the time we get to Wednesday morning. The track of this next system is the thing that I want to show you. And if you're interested, I'm going to show you the latest model. Let's go. Let's start with the American model, shall we? This one is updated since the last time we talked. And that means you're going to get to see something new. So let me show you this. And one of the beauties of Hutch's weather, not only do you get to ask questions, but I get to show you what the models are showing and why they're different. And I'm going to show a national view first, and then we'll zoom in. Here comes a storm rolling out of Wyoming, dipping down briefly into Colorado and Nebraska. So the snow starts out west. There's a little bit of snow on Saturday evening. See that? Saturday, NBD. No big deal. That's right. NBD, no big deal. We'll have some snow. There'll be some wind, but it'll be okay. Then as we head into the time frame, moving forward, as time marches on. Okay, there it is. Now the snow starts spreading through the Dakotas. The dark blue colors here indicative of the heavier bands of snow. Look at Iowa. Look at southern Minnesota. And this is Sunday morning. This is at we'll take 5 hours off. This 10 a.m. This is 10 in the morning on Sunday. It's showing snow in Fargo, okay? And it could be snowing in the Grand Forks area too, but the heavier bands of snow from the Southern Valley in towards Bismarck, the I-94 corridor, the Highway 200 corridor, all of that blasting. And the wind will be out of the east when the snow is starting on Sunday. So Sunday, ridiculous winds at times, areas of heavy snow, accumulating rapidly, difficult travel, and impacts with an easterly flow for those of you who have livestock out there and may want to take some precautions for them. Can get them inside. That'd probably be good. Look at this nonsensical nonsense. You see these little purple blobs here? Those purple blobs, I'm not clapping, but that's just one area. Here, let me get the purple blobs back up here. So there are purple blobs coming through as we go through Sunday morning. Those purple blobs are indicative of very heavy snowfall rates. Snowflakes the size of Hutch Johnson's face, not just my toe. These will be huge flakes flying in gusty winds, again, still out of the east. Stepping through Sunday, it's snowing all day and heavy for much of the time. The snowfall amounts from this, if this happens in this fashion, and if the moisture doesn't get robbed by showers and thunderstorms that form in Iowa or some unknown thing that we just aren't seeing or the models aren't depicting yet, well, it could be very heavy snow. So when you ask if there could be 2 feet, it's very rare to see 2 feet in one day in North Dakota. We have had 12 to 18-inch snowstorms in one day. Tom, purple blob equals bad. It's math 101. Purple blob equals bad. We're talking math here. Yes, Tiffany, thank you so much. Good to see you on board as well. Can you zoom in? Let's do it. I'm going to do it because you ask and you shall get it, because let's talk about our area. Let's zoom in. Bam. There we go. Okay, let's get back to the storm. Here it is. Here's your area. Can you see your county? Okay, this area of the map is showing South Dakota here, North Dakota here, Minnesota here, snow beginning. The time on this is going to be about 4 a.m. on Sunday. So it gets started. Purple blobs equal bad, right, Tom? Right. Now, as we advance this through, look at this. Rain, bright pink and purple. You know what that means? That means we could have some thunder, snow. Very heavy convective type of snow as we go into the afternoon. Look at that purple blob taking place right at the Twin Cities and the Minnesota border there with Wisconsin. Ooh, that could be very, very rapidly accumulating snow. Notice Fargo right up here. The chances of the snow being heavy all day looks to be, well, pretty good, but it does look like the heaviest then focus is near the border. You can see the center of the bullseye here. I'm going to change my picture. Let me duck out because I like to, well, let me see if I can just move me. Whoop, ducking out. Whoop. How about this? Whoop. Nope, can't do that. Let's go with this. All right, I just wanted to point at something here so that you can see. Let's do this. All right. Moving my body around here. Okay, now, as I've gotten myself situated so I can do a little bit more pointing, this zone right here, there's going to be some icing. It looks to be in South Dakota. On some of the first forecasts, it looked like a chance of ice in our area. It does look like we could see some in southern Minnesota. This is Sunday still. Now we're looking at the evening hours here. The heaviest snow along the South Dakota border, but it's still snowing. In Grand Forks, you could get some snow. And up in the areas of the Northern Valley, Park Rapids, Bagley, Bemidji, up north towards Waskish, and those areas have lighter snowfall rates, but it's still snowing for hours and blowing for hours too. Patrick, thank you for the update. Hope you stick around and see how much we're going to get because it doesn't look fun. Now, as this thing continues to slide its way through, sometimes you want to see if you drew the shortest straw or not, Patrick. All right, here we go. There's the low, and it's going straight north through our kitchen. So when the low moves right through our kitchen, that means it's going to really bring some heavier snowfall potential to the area, and there's going to be a wind shift. So it's Sunday at midnight is what you're looking at, or 1 a.m., and then the wind is going to start ripping out of the north as the low moves by us. Look at the rain moving in. So you had snow all day in southern Minnesota, and then it starts raining? What? That's going to be no fun to clean that nonsense up. We could have inches of slush down there. Now, then this snow gets mighty heavy here in the Sisseton Hills, the I-29 corridor. We have diminishing snowfall amounts and rates up north, but look at where this low goes. It's still now spending the second day over the valley. 2 days of snow in the valley. Not heavy the whole darn time. Windy the whole darn time. Now the snow is coming out of the north and the temperatures are diving downward. It's raining in the Twin Cities on top of the snow they got. Thank you for the stars, Melinda. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Jeremiah says, not a good weekend to break out the Chevelle. No, not gonna do it. That also would not be prudent at this juncture. Now, the storm system continues to lift out of here. The time framing on this is Monday night at midnight or Tuesday at about 1 a.m. It's finally exiting. Okay. Now, you can imagine that this would bring a lot of snow. Let me show you the snowfall on this, and there's different types of snowfall models and calculations we can use. Depending on the temperatures through the whole layer of the atmosphere dictates how much snow might fall or whether we're going to get some of that wet, heavy snow or if it's going to be the light, fluffy kind of snow. So I'm going to use a variable rate, and this will include the snow that's falling tomorrow. So there's band 1. That's sitting on the ground. And then here is, bam, that's what's coming in on the first wave as the system gets going Sunday. So by Sunday, we could already have areas with significant snow. Now, these numbers and digits, as I've said before, this is a global model with a big grid, which makes the snow look like it's impacting a bigger area, a huge area. Typically, we see bands of snow set up and they're fairly narrow. So it shows this big, wide red space here. Chances are what we're really going to see is a narrow band of ridiculous nonsense, okay? But we could have a pretty big area here that gets well over 6 inches of snow. So I think that that's legitimately reasonable that 6 to 12 and forecasts with wide ranges are reasonable in this situation because we don't know exactly where that band is going to set up. Now, as it keeps snowing, remember, this is midnight Sunday into Monday, and this is where the low is going to move straight north. This is where our neighbors in Bemidji, Park Rapids, Beltrami, Foston, Crookston, all the way up into the northern part of the valley, even you in Roseau County have a chance at seeing snow. See the pinks moving northward? The accumulations are rocking right through the northern parts of Beltrami County, Pennington County, Marshall County, right up in, and we're just getting into the Monday evening time frame, and then it starts winding out of here. So again, these snowfall numbers that you're seeing here, they're showing 20 inches all over the place. Do I think that's going to happen? No, probably not. I do think we'll see the potential for a narrow band of very heavy snow, and I would not be surprised to see that amount in the 18 to 22, 24 inch range because it's a 2-day event. There could be changes though. This is one model's rendition. Look at where the bullseye is, okay? It's right here in our kitchen. Fargo, Richland County for you in the Breckenridge, Wahpeton area, Lakes Country. We really need the moisture. Central Minnesota is in an expanding drought. There's drought expanding across North Dakota, but the greatest drought is along and north of Highway 2. That's where the greatest drought is. And that's where the lower snowfall amounts are expected to be with this system. Zoom in, please. My bifocals can't pick up the numbers, and thank you. Okay, let's see if I can. I'm going to try this. I may have to load this up on another map here. Let me do this. That's called a sounding. I'm not going to go over what that is right now. Let's go over this. Here we go. Now I can zoom in on your numbers. Kathy, you're asking me to zoom in. This is not Hutch's forecast. This is a model's guidance saying what the potential might be. A lot of the snow we see out west here, there's Bismarck, 9.3 is what that number says. Now Bismarck out towards Dickinson, out towards Beach, they have like the 6 to 9. Some of that snow is from the Clipper coming through tomorrow. And what that means is the main event system that starts on Saturday really doesn't hit them with a lot more snow. They could get several inches, 4 to 6 inches there, and a couple inches from the Clipper. But keep in mind that all of this is going to be accounting for the Clipper that comes through and for the main event. So the main event on Saturday and into early parts of Sunday is mainly going to be along the South Dakota border here, Ziebach County and out towards Pierre, South Dakota, south of Mobridge, through Mobridge's Kitchen, and that's where that one goes. Now let's look at our area, okay? If we look at South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota border here, we're talking about Lake Traverse, Sisseton, Wahpeton, Breckenridge. This is where the bullseye is. This is where the bullseye has been for the last 2 or 3 days on a couple of these models, okay? So we're still seeing that. That gives me confidence that this Southern Valley, Southeast North Dakota, will have more and increased impacts. The other thing is the storm system, and it's now starting to show on multiple models that it's going to go straight north as it develops here and then zips across Minnesota. How fast it does its zipping and zagging will tell me how much snow potential we have, as well as temperatures and a few other factors. But notice, healthy amounts of snow, you get mist from the first system in Bemidji, and all 16 inches that you get there for the most part will be likely from this system. Now, are you going to get 16? No. Remember what I said. This is a global scale model, so it tends to make it look like a huge area gets a foot or more of snow. That's likely not going to be the case. We probably will see a fairly narrow band of very heavy snow surrounded by impressive snow for other places of over 6 and maybe 12 inches. So let's keep that in mind as we go through. This model is the European model. This looks a lot like the model I just showed you. So this one's the European model. Here's the American model. Whoa, look at Fargo on this one. So I'll zoom in for you. I cannot see those numbers, says Chrissy. I hear you. I don't want to see those numbers. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. So this model, the American model, again, bullseye, Southern Valley, Southeast North Dakota, Northeast South Dakota. It does show but bending up north as the system works through Minnesota. So Lakes Country from Otter Tail County right here, Fergus Falls says 22 for Fergus Falls. Bemidji says about 15 inches. These numbers are not something I want you to hang your hat on, okay? Now, who wants to hang their snow or their hat on snow? I don't hang my hat on snow. All right, this is the Canadian model because you can't really have a winner or an idea of what the way the models are doing unless we have a third model. So let's look at a third model. Looks very similar. I-94 points south. Bullseye, the eastern Dakotas, particularly along an area's points just south of Fargo. Fargo, healthy amounts. Let's go ahead and zoom in. We're talking still upwards of a foot of snow on this particular model. Grand Forks getting a nice little whack of about 7 inches of snow. And the heavier amounts focused in eastern South Dakota on the I-29 corridor as you go through Watertown and such and in toward the Twin Cities. St. Cloud, Brainerd, Fergus Falls. How about down here at Morrison Benson? Okay. Ooh, says Tiffany. You're going to have some shovel trouble down there in the old Comstock region, Tiffany, the way things are looking. The Twin Cities, the entire region, I will say the eastern Dakotas and into most of Minnesota, stand a chance at seeing some pretty ridiculous snowfall potential from this storm system. It showed it for days on end. It has shown it in this general vicinity for days on end. The model that has moved the most and changed its mind the most is the American model, but it is kind of dialing into a track fairly similar to what the European model was showing and what the Canadian was showing. The trend from the Canadian and the European model was just a little bit to the south. The trend for the American model has jumped it back up to the north. In fact, it might be a little farther north than the others. Anything for Lisbon? Michael, yes. Lisbon being right here, this is the main event snow. You're going to get a little bit from the first round of snow tomorrow, and that could be upwards of 3 to 5 inches of snow, maybe a little more. And then we're going to lop on top of that another healthy amount of snow as we go mainly through late Sunday and all day Monday. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. Get the snow blowers ready to go. Make sure that you have things ready to go. Make sure you have adjustable travel plans if you have flights. Now, this storm system, you asked me to go ahead and put the local map on, so I did. But I want to go back to the American map, and I'm going to pull up the most recent American model because it's a little bit newer. And I'm going to pull out the snowfall totals, and I'm going to show you the impacts it could, airports it could be impacted. I do believe this system is going to impact air travel across the northern plains and central plains. Let's go ahead and pull up this, pull up one that goes out a little. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be through Wednesday. Minneapolis, Fargo, Sioux Falls, Bismarck, Grand Forks possibly impacted as well. As you go out into Montana, Billings maybe not as bad as some of your neighbor airports to the north. Will Denver's airport be impacted? Likely not. This system, the low forms up here. That means the upslope is going to be in Montana and northern Wyoming. There's going to be snow on the western slopes, not the eastern slopes, which would mean Denver. So I think Denver's airport would be good to go, but we will likely have some impacts to air travel. Livestock, ranchers, making some plans. We know how tough it is for you, and these are tough times, and we definitely need the moisture. But yeah, you'll want to make impacts and preparations for gusty east winds, bands of heavy snow. The wind will be out of the east all day Sunday and become northerly as we go into Monday. That's the best I can give you there for that information. So then as we head through, you've been hearing tell that there might be some more snow, and this model just lights it up showing, yeah, these snowfall amounts, they're way out to lunch. There's a lot there, but there is a couple more systems coming through, bookending the holiday of Easter. A little bit before, a little bit after, and our region does stand to see a little bit more from those systems as well. But maybe we should try to make it through the events that are on our doorstep here. Questions, comments, concerns, soliloquies, any limericks or anything fun? Justin says lies. Yeah. No, we're not trying to lie. I'm showing you what the models show, and we're just giving you an idea of the timing and hopefully can prepare you. And if there are changes, which there almost always are, we'll let you know about it. I'll let you know about it. We'll have the coverage right here so you can make sure that we keep you up ahead of the storms. Here's a look again at the radar as we head into the evening. We'll warm up those shovels. Warm up your shovels and gas up your snow blowers. Warm up your shovels. Yep, do that. An Easter miracle. Glad we're back, Richard says. Well, I'm glad to be back. It's fun to be here talking weather with all of you. Roughly when will the major snowfall start on Sunday? My guess is we'll start seeing some flakes in and around 3 in the afternoon. It could be a little earlier or later yet. It's still pretty far away from Sunday yet, but it looks like Saturday will be a break for our area. It will start earlier out in western North Dakota. So depending on where you are, Elaine, that's what it looks like for starting. Keep it south, please. Bonnie, we'll see what we can do. Tiffany says, hope Grandpa was able to adjust his flight. They're supposed to fly back on Sunday. Did I read that right? Yeah, they're supposed to fly back on Sunday. So in the earlier part of the day, maybe they'll have a good chance at landing. Later in the day, it could get increasingly difficult, but particularly in the evening, and that's when things really get going. That groundhog was wrong, yeah. Well, we did get a nice taste of spring, right? So it's confusing. Go figure. This weather business can be confusing. Carrie Lynn, the Dickinson area, what are we thinking for numbers there? Let me show you. My maps would be the best way to go for that, so let me pop those back up. Models are a little bit different, but I believe they were mainly around that 6 to 10 inches. Some of that's coming from our first whack here that's going to come tomorrow. And then after that, it looked like the amount you can expect tomorrow in Dickinson might be anywhere from that 2 to 5 inch range. That's what it looked like to me. And then let me put this back up for you, Carrie, so you can see. May or may not be related to Carrie. Just saying. Okay, here we go. Check this all out. So Western North Dakota, there's Dickinson 10.8. So this particular model, don't pay too much attention to these exact amounts, Carrie. In and around Dickinson and points south. With the clipper coming tomorrow, we're going to see a batch in an area of 2 to 5 inches of snow in your area. So you'll pick that up, and then we'll lop on another, 4 or 5. You are not the big winners from this particular second whack of snow because it will be mainly impacting eastern South Dakota, and you'll be on the northern fringes of it on Saturday night and Sunday early. So that's what it looks like for you. As we go into the time frame of Monday, it's going to be exiting your area pretty quickly and heading into the valley and into Minnesota. So that's what you can plan on. We can't complain. Bonnie says we've had a pretty easy winter. We started out at 2. Yep. And jumping in a little latest for Nisswa this weekend. Yeah. Mike would love to have you go back and check out the full video, but I can show you now that we have a little clipper coming through tonight. It's probably, you're going to be on the northern fringe of that and get lower amounts, say 1 to 2 inches or so in Nisswa as we go through Thursday and Thursday night. And then as we head into the day, on the main event starts for you Sunday night late, but all day Monday, rain. There's going to be rain changing over to snow in southern Minnesota. I don't think it hits up as far north as Nisswa, the Brainerd Lakes area. I just think it's going to stay a little south of you at this time. And if that's the case, then you're going to be in the mix. Now, this says 1 to 2 feet of snow. Not everybody, not this big of an area is going to get 1 to 2 feet of snow. This is a global model, and it makes it look like, boom, everybody's getting a lot. What we're going to see is more of a narrow band of heavier impacts, and it will be surrounded by an area with significant impacts. So I do think we're going to have winter storm capable snow. Somebody was asking about, will it be a blizzard? And as meteorologists, we reserve that term for the worst of winter events. And the definition of a blizzard by us meteorologists, because we know, is this. Driving in this system is going to be no fun, and it's going to be dangerous. But a true blizzard is one where we have heavy snow reducing visibilities to very close to zero with 35-mile-per-hour winds sustained for at least 3 hours. So we can have a whiteout, but that doesn't mean it's a blizzard. And it isn't, because a blizzard lasts and can last for a long time. This storm will have the capacity to generate wind and heavy snow for way more than 3 hours. So could it be a blizzard, and could blizzard warnings be issued? I do believe that there will likely some counties that get stabbed into blizzard warning criteria. Where exactly they'll be, we will reserve until we can see the storm system get close enough so that our fine-tuning models, the higher resolution models, can pinpoint where the heavier bands of snow will be and where the strongest wind will be and how long those conditions will remain adequate to make it a blizzard. So that's some of the stuff that goes into this. We can see this kind of snowfall amount and say we should be issuing warnings. Nope, the National Weather Service, those meteorologists know what they're doing, and they're taking all of this into account. They're watching it. And their language is there is going to be a great chance, over 50% chance at seeing some winter storm criteria in our area. What does that mean? That means about 50% of Grand Forks' area is going to be impacted by winter storm criteria potentially. Stay tuned. Keep flexible travel plans. Make sure you're letting people know if you must travel. The worst of the situation, the worst of the weather will likely be here in the eastern third of North Dakota, late Sunday night. Okay, so Sunday it starts, late Sunday night, all day Monday, and then it will be exiting into Tuesday morning. School cancellations Monday. I'm not the superintendent of education, Mary, but I can tell you that there is going to be a probability that there'll be impacts to things that are scheduled, whether it's school. Some will have church conditions that could be concerning on Sunday as things get started out in western North Dakota on Sunday with them. Monday and maybe even into Tuesday morning, because it snows for the better part of our day on Monday, could be a concern as well. Leonard says, praying it passes us, and it will pass us. Whether it goes right over us and whether we get the heaviest snow, we'll take a look at that as we go through and keep you advised. I removed my snow skate stakes, put them back up last night. Was thinking we were done. Isn't it crazy how nice it was? And now all of a sudden it's a little less than nice. So East Polk County impacts, yes, big impacts. The bigger impacts will be to your south, but the low on Monday going to lift north right into your kitchen. So Monday will be the worst impacts for you, and there will be significant snow potential. And yes, it looks like some in Polk County will stand a good chance at seeing over 8 inches of snow and possibly over 10 inches of snow in places as we go through this. Again, a lot can change. All right. I think that's all I got here. I am going to post a video that I did. I did a national video where I compared the 3 models. Somebody says they have to go to Rochester Monday morning, and it's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be kind of an extravaganza because down there, they're going to get snow first, and it could be several inches of snow, like maybe 4 to 6 inches of snow. And then they're going to top that off with some heavy rain, which could melt it, or it could turn into just unfun, right? And then it rains for the better part of Monday in southern parts of Minnesota. Thanks for all of you guys popping on a little bit late here. I encourage you, I'm going to log off now. I've got some updating to do on some other channels here as well. And I'm very interested to see what these models are doing with the system as we approach tomorrow. We're going to focus on the clipper that's coming through tomorrow with tomorrow's stuff. But we'll have some new model runs and some new ideas on what this system looks like it's going to do. And in fact, some of the models, like the European and Canadian models, are calculating and churning right now. And there'll be a new model coming out with that by the time we get to about midnight to 1 a.m. And we'll have the latest on that for you as we go into your day tomorrow. Thank you so very much for your support. It means so much. Thank you for sharing that Hutch's Weather is on Facebook. I'm going to put up a link to that video before I forget here so that you can check that out as you want, if you want to take a look at the model comparison. Kind of what I did here, but more on a national level. And again, I appreciate your support and remembering my my sponsor, Robert Gibb and Sons. Should you need any mechanical needs at all, call them, tell them Hutch sent you. They do everything from heating and air conditioning to plumbing to electrical, commercial, residential. They'll take care of everything. Give them a call right now if you've been thinking at all about upgrading your furnace and air conditioning system to a brand new Bryant system. They're a premier Bryant dealer. They're going to throw in that water heater for free. So it's like getting a whole new mechanical room in the house there. So All right, that's what we got. Thank you very much. Have yourself a wonderful night. There's your link to the good video. I'd sure love to have you watch that. Love the likes on those videos, as well as I'm trying to grow my Facebook following over there. You all have a wonderful night. Get ready for a little bit of snow from our clap of a clipper, and then get ready for the big bad ripper. That comes Sunday, Monday. Have a good night.